Hey, welcome to 1000 Details. This time we have the Novation Peak, one of my favorite synths of all time, in desktop version with full-on controls, more conventional synth, let's call it this way. The Peak has quite a few years now, but it's still a very updated and up-top synth that you can get. Nowadays it sits currently around 1400 euros, US dollars. It is a little bit expensive if you think about the price a few years ago, but with inflation it is what it is. Still, you can buy one of those used for around 800-900 euros pretty easily. I know it's possible because one of my best friends just got one of these second-hand around 800 euros. So it's a good price if you get this for around 800-900 euros. Even the new price is very good. So the synth itself is a 3 oscillator, all digital, dual envelope, 4 LFOs, and full-on analog filter with 3 FXs. And let me tell you, for a digital synth and analog filter, this sounds really good. And one of the reasons that I really like this synth, it's because of the sound I can achieve with it, that's for sure, but also the fact that it's one of the most hands-on synths out there. There's a little bit of menu stuff here that can add up stuff to your sound, especially on the mod part and the oscillator part and the voice settings. But just with what you have in front of you, you can do a lot of stuff. Don't let get fooled by, oh, so many knobs, so many. No, this is good. It's good because it makes it immediate, fun and pleasing to experiment, to design, to play with it, which is one of the most important things in a synth, at least for me. So today my idea here is to show you a little bit how do I use it. My 3 main usages of the Peak are synth, basslines, and some textures. And in the synth part I tend to use this 2 ways: mono sequencing or chord poly mode, since this is a polyphonic synth with 8 voices. What you're hearing right now, I think it's a preset that came with the Peak. I don't remember quite well, but I think it is because I didn't touch much the bank A. With a few drums from the Digitact, and this sounds really good. It is a little bit big to carry on and to play and to put on small boots, but it's pleasing, and the end result, it's always amazing. It gets so immense that, I don't know, you just dive into the sound. Let's dive into the Peak. Let's start by doing an initial patch, which is the idea here, so that we start completely new and we design something from scratch. And I'll tell you a little bit how do I approach this. And it's quite simple. I always follow my rule, which is normally have a beat going and add stuff up and see where it goes. First design, then fix a little bit more the sequence if it's not that good or something is off, and then just find ways to play with the synth and make it alive, which that's what you want in your tracks. At least that's what I want in mine. And mono sequence, pretty basic, nothing crazy going on here. I'm just gonna start this and let's get a few sounds going on the Digitact. Yeah, I think we can go with the same bass line and kick from the intro track. Yeah, why not? Let's go with this. And let's start with my typical way of working this, which will be more or less around doing a random generated okay, something like this, why not? And since we have 3 oscillators here, I start to add one after the other. I don't need to use all of them at once, that's one thing, but I do like this idea of subtractive synthesis, adding stuff and then using the filter to cut off and shape the sound. It's simple, but it's effective. Okay. So this is a cool one to add some modulation. So in this case, as we are using a saw wave, we are shaping the phase of the wave here. So this is good. And the first thing, if you've been watching my videos, I am a sucker for distortion, overdrive, fuzz, whatever that colors and gets that sound very gritty. Count me in. There we go. So now let's add the second VCO. Nice. A different phase shape here. Let's give it a little bit more coarse here. Yeah, why not? Oh, this sounds good. 12 dB slope. I like to have my sound more spread, not so abrupt cut. In this case, of course, this is a thing that you go by design and by ear, in my opinion. So let's check our mod envelope for the filter. So we can animate this thing a little bit. Good. Many times I play a lot with the filter envelope. I don't go immediately playing with the frequency knob. I just go here because it creates some movement, which I like a lot. Now let's check our amp envelope. A little bit of attack here so that we can have our transients from the kick and the bass work. Maybe less sustain. Good. Now, let's see something that we can do here. Good. So adding the third oscillator. Now let's see if you can get a little bit of PWM here with the shape amount. And perhaps let's use the second LFO for a little bit of pitch modulation on the first voice. Something just a tiny little bit. I also add a small movement in here. And something that I normally do a lot here, which is playing with the unison. The unison can get you that big, dense synth sound. Let's do a 2-voice unison. Yeah, why not? And the oscillator part, I want to change the V-sync. Yeah, V-sync of oscillator 1 and the V-sync. Let's test it out. Yeah, first one is enough. So, as I was telling you on the beginning, it's very cool that this has a lot of knobs. It's almost one knob per function. So this invites you to try stuff, and this is very good. Don't get afraid of twisting knobs here. That's the thing, that's the idea here. It's you have control of almost everything with a knob, and that's usually appreciated, at least for me. So we have this going, right? Let's have the percussion here. Yeah, why not? And let me see if I have anything going on here. Yeah, I have a little bit of chorus on the digitact for the peak. Let's add reverb here from the peak. Less time, not so dense. A little bit more distortion and resonance, so that those mid come a little bit higher in the mix. And let's see what we can add here. Oh, this is nice. And now let's go to our close hi-hats. I'm still not used to, I'm always pressing here, waiting like, okay, where are the effects? No, it's here now. But I'm getting used to this thing. And while I'm shaping this, again, I'm always playing with my stuff on the synth so that I know that I have a story to tell. So this will be what I call the golden loop. So like the full part of the track on the drums and the full part of the synth. So I call it the golden loop. So this is how it will be peak time, maximum track playing. And from here I take my conclusions and say, will this work? Does this sound good? Yeah, for me it does sound good right now. I don't even want to change this. I can try honestly and see. Yeah, I prefer it this way. And now let's bring our chorus. Not too much, just a tiny appointment of chorus and reverb as well here. And I think I'm set with this one. And normally let it sit in, like I was just in silence, like hearing how stuff is working together, everything, how does everything works together. And I love one thing here in the peak, which is the peak has these two buttons here, they call animate, which is basically you can apply some modulation to some parameters here by just pressing the button momentarily, or you can do a hold and it will keep on that modulation going. So I'm gonna go here on modulation, I'm gonna pick up animate one, direct effect modes, and so that you can see what happens here. I'm gonna just exemplifying. In this case we have destination to all the pitches of the oscillators. Yeah, why not? Oh, this is good. This is a good one to add like for a break or some stuff like that. And to add a new layer of stuff coming up. This is a good. I like that. I like that thing. And from here, I will just come up with a jam for this. And you have much more routes that you can take. Like let's go to the slot 2. You have 16 slots for modulation, which is more than enough in my opinion, if you ask me. It's not because you have a lot of control here that you need to use everything on this synth. No, that's not the way it works. It's like, oh, the more stuff I have, the more stuff I have to use. No, you just need to use and apply whatever you have here. And in this case, I just wanted a simple lead sound, and that's it. Simple, effective. It's not the best ever synth ever made, of course not, but it serves the purpose to exemplify what can be done here. I want to show you a few examples of what I've already made before, quite a time ago. I'll try my best to explain what was the idea behind that and try to understand and explain to you what I'm hearing, and so that we can decompose the sound, let's put it this way. And that way you'll have a sense of how things can work in the Peak. And for this I'm also going to change something on my Oxy, which is I'm going to go to chord mode, which is perhaps the way that I use most of the times the Peak. Before was much more, oh, I only like mono synths and monophonic sequencers, techno is mono and blah blah blah. Sure, it can be, and in reality techno can be whatever you want. Just make sure you're having fun. That's the most important part. At least this is what I think about it. But a few years ago, maybe one and a half, 2 years ago, I said, maybe if I take poly synths and try to set them up in different ways, I can get more complex sound, which will lead to maybe better, maybe worse sounds. That's the way it goes. So let me show you here, and we will cook something very fast here. I have something here, let me see if I remember. Oh, okay, this one. And let's, as usual, let's put it here. Okay, so this is a pad. Now let's change our kick first. Okay. And if I remember correctly, I think I have this in small doses. No. Yeah. I have this in very small doses of each oscillator. Let's bring the resonance, because this sound is asking for a resonance, like for like a knife cutting in. Okay, there's 21 of distortion only. Less reverb, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the delay is making the sound. Yeah. Delays in techno are so important. Don't fade them, honestly. Now let's see what we have here. And pretty much sure, if I'm not mistaken, let's hear this by itself. There's a lot of noise, okay, and Yeah, exactly. Oscillator 3, giving the body. Oscillator 2, giving a little bit more melody. And there's this cool effect here. Exactly what we can see here is that I like this sound. For me it sounds very good. But I think that I'm going to change the sequence a little bit. Yeah, why not? Let's get something going here. Let's get a full-on close hi-hat. Let's modulate what? Let's modulate here the panning, why not? 16, 32, 28, okay. Let's bring some hi-hats, open hi-hats. And like that, you have something. And of course, the chord mode sounds more beautiful, but I think this sounds good. Like it is a nice vibe here. A little bit housey somehow, but still techno, which pleases me a lot. And voila, that's the thing. And we can now hear something like, let's keep the same drums, but I'm gonna change this to mono, and sounds totally different. It is exactly like we are using the same scale, same root note. Let's change this into something more like and maybe here we will lower the root notes. Total different dimension. Doesn't mean it sounds worse or not. It's just different. let's bring the oscillator 3 into modulating the filter. Little less. Oops. I am using this sound already. I also like this one, it's cool. Maybe the sequence is not the best out there, truth to be told. Maybe like this. Something more sci-fi-ish. Why not? And if you are, especially if you are discovering synthesis and you want to do experimentation, or even if you are a pro and you already know a lot about synthesis, there's something very cool to do. Like, you have a preset, shred it to pieces, see what you can come out from it, make it like a starting point. I don't think that's a bad thing. Don't let people tell you, oh no, don't do that, it's designed by scratch. Sure, if you are comfortable enough, do it by scratch. If not, there's nothing wrong with taking a preset and shred it to parts and make it your own. I'm mostly positive that if you do that, you're gonna learn synthesis much faster. It's like, I have a starting point, so let's see how this is built. Oh, I see, this goes here, goes there, blah, 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 blah. And it will help you build stuff. For example, I want to try and see if I can get this to another dimension, like, or a different sound, something different. So let me see what we can get from here. Adding a little bit of drift. And what will happen if I change this to a wavetable? Because you have wavetables in the Peak, which is something very cool to add up. Oh yeah. Sounds good. Sounds very good. A little more volume here to cut the mix. building that tension. Full on, everything is going at all times. And see, like, just a few changes in the patch that I had here immediately brings you another completely different sound. It shares a little stuff here and there, but it's a new sound. There we go, the synth alone. Bonk, 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 bonk. Feels like a horse promenade. Don't mind me, I always have the most stupid thoughts when I'm doing music, and whatever, it is what it is. Maybe it's cringe, maybe it's not. But yeah, I always encourage people to try. Do it from scratch, or take a preset and kill it, or make it yours. If you have any other suggestion or feedback or questions, leave it in the comments. I'll try my best to reply as soon as I can. So let's design a bass line, and I'll show you how I do it. And it will be exactly the same process that I used to create the preset and loop pack that I have on Patreon. I always approach it the same way for bass lines, and it works for me. Initial patch, and we're gonna go the way that I always do. It's in mono mode, let's put it on chord. I'll just add a kick, same kick as before, it's fine. We're gonna play this kick going on. In this case I want more density, so I want more notes playing, but a smaller range in here. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, harmonic minor. I do love this scale. And let's change our root notes. Drive, distortion, always. So why not? I think I'm gonna do here a saw pulse combination, or saw pulse pulse. Let's see where it goes. I'll play immediately with the envelope, give it a little bit of attack so that the kick can pierce. And the envelope here will play a very important part in shaping the bass line. So one thing is to have this, another is to have this. This for me is not that usable, if you ask me. If I want more groove, I want something shorter and not that prolonged. And here I'll keep the 24 dB slope, so it's more steep and cuts more stuff in front of the cutoff. And now I'm going to bring in the second oscillator. I'm going to tune it. And this time I'm going to go upwards. So as you can see, if I open the filter now, it's somewhat of a synth, but I'm gonna keep it cut so that we have a bass line, right? And let's go for a pulse here. Not too much. We don't want to make this super dense, but have like weight, you know, like if in my head, if I close my eyes, I don't even need to close my eyes, but in my head, when I added the third oscillator, it's like, oh, now I can like feel the weight of this sound. Like it feels a little bit more real, more bassline, if you ask me. And yeah, let's add PWM, and let's see what happens if we change the chorus here. Yeah, good. And this does sound okay. In my honest opinion, it does sound okay. I'm gonna increase the decay of the kick, and something that you can do to now have a more cohesive, groovy stuff. I tend to use like a kick or a tom in this, and if I'm not mistaken, since I haven't changed this, yeah, I still have my Euclidean sequence going on here. And let me see what I have here. Okay, I have that. I already have a low tom here, 909 low tom. And let's bring this in. Pitch it a little bit, perhaps, yeah. Like this. And the mix with the tom, the kick, and the bass line, we have something going. And let's sculpt here the mod envelope 1 that I 98% of the times use for the filter. I don't want to sustain it that much, and the release maybe is a shorter one, but we will tweak as we hear. Yeah, shorter release. And we can now adjust and see how does the root note will play here. Okay. D sharp. So first octave here. Yeah, on F. Let's leave it on F. F sounds good to me. I don't know if the kick is on F or not, but it sounds good to my ears, so go with it. Don't stress about those things. We want this to do a very fast sweep here. We could try and use the LFO1, but it's super fast and not what I want, right? So let's go here to the mod, direct, let's go to LFO2 in bipolar mode, and destination will be the filter drive, filter distort, filter frequency. There we go. How about 0 so that we can... Okay, I know what I need to do. So what I'm doing is trying to find the right rate. Using the rate and the fade time. A little bit less depth in this. There we go, something more like this. And yeah, we have a bass line going, which is alive. It's changing stuff, which I like a lot. There's no rules. You can have it static, you can have doing stuff, and it does fit the bass line / synth idea that I was telling you. Let's add something more in here. Okay, why not this one? And this time I want to clear this. I just want normal closed hi-hats. And now I don't want my panning. Perfect. It is a bass line. And perhaps just for the sake of, I don't have anything loaded here. Let's see what we have here. Let's pick something random. And now we adjust stuff. Let me go back to our mod here, and now we want less of this LFO. There we go. Adjust the volume as well. We have a track. And this is our final bass line. For me, it's good enough. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but it's usable. And there we go. This will be the way that I do bass lines. I always apply the same logic for the bass lines. For me, it's the more the merrier for oscillators, so that I can build like different layers. So I'll have like the mass layer, which gives it body. Normally I go for the oscillator 3. I don't know if it's because it's down here or not, but it makes sense. And 1 and 2, I try to use them to create what will be perhaps a synth, but then cut it off and still have a groove there, some harmonies going on. And the rest, it's basically modulation on stuff. So we had modulation on the shape, on the pitch, on the filter. I didn't apply any effects. My opinion is that to use effects on the bassline, delay is cool. It can get you amazing sounds with delay on basslines. Reverb, yes, but do it a little, just a tiny bit. The more you add this, especially if you're doing techno like I am doing, I don't want the bassline to be that dense to a point where it masks all the track or it's very present. I still want my kick to pierce and be the pillar, but for sure, a tiny little bit of reverb doesn't do any harm. And chorus to taste, also don't make it very crazy, or else it will make the sound weaker, in my opinion. But everything is subjective, as I say all the times. So experiment. Again, this machine is experimentation machine. Not like the BlaBla, no, not like the easel, but it's still on that territory of just twist knobs and see where it goes. So the last part here is I've been creating some stuff here, and I'll explain to you step by step what I did. And it all starts with a very simple way. It all starts with a held note. In my workflow, and when I want to do textural sound, I immediately go to the Oxy and start the matricial mode, which is a crazy mode to do generative textural stuff. It plays really crazy, random, but you can make it musical. But in this case, since you might not have Oxy 1, the fastest way is to hold the note. So I just have here hold turned on, and if I press play and I just hit, let's just hit like this note here. Sorry for the noise. You can even go lower, I think. Yeah, let's go lower. So what I've done here is I got a wavetable on the oscillator 1. So I have this harsh wavetable. I love that the Peak allows you to use wavetables. So I added the LFO2 depth to the pitch of the oscillator 1. There's also the LFO1 is modulating the wavetable here, so changing parts of that wavetable. I then came in and basically tuned in the oscillator 2, added up to the mix. There's also mod envelope to modulation to this, LFO to this, manually adjusting the shape, so this in this case the phase. And then oscillator 3 is playing a different part here. It's on a pulse, and same logic here. I want a lot of my modulators, so envelopes, LFOs, whatever, to slowly change the sound, add a lot of waviness, different parts going on. And this is the oscillator part. There's a little bit of noise here, if I'm not mistaken. Tiny little bit of noise. Or I had it in my mind, but noise for me is essential to doing those textures. You can see how this is already sounding. And then the other part for sure is the effects. A lot of effects, it needs effects in this case. So there's reverb, there's delay, there's not a chorus this time, you have distortion, there's overdrive on the filter, you have the oscillator 3 modulating the filter as well, so it creates even more movement, liveliness. And one thing that I did is you can modulate the effects. So I have my LFO3, which is hidden on the menu, modulating the level of the reverb, so there's up and downs. And I have the LFO4 in this case, modulating the time of the delay. So it's always changing the time of the delay. And 24 dB slope on the filter. In this case, I needed to really cut harshly so that I don't have a lot of information going. I need to keep here this on a specific environment, let's say this way. I always tend to analyze this kind of sound as an organism living somewhere, and it sounds big without any other processing. I can tell you that if I added a space pedal from Eventide afterwards, the sound here, oh boy, it will be even 10 times better. But you can even use something to play with this, like for example, let's add a kick. Why not? Playing along the kick. This could even be a synth if you want, but and once again, it's just tiny small points here that create this. For sure, the envelope will have a lot of effect on how this will sound in the end. And I have modulation here from the LFO3 again, going to my sustain of my mod envelope 2, that is here, which changes here the pitch, which add even extra movement. So this patch is basically and easily a mix of everything and a lot of modulation, creating movement on all that I can add modulation to, that it's modulatable, let's put it this way. I'm doing it. Let's see what happens if I bring in the ring modulation. Let's get out our percussion here, but you could even add this to this specific sound, and it will sound cool, at least for me. But yeah, and you can play with a lot more stuff if you want, like the glide. Not that noticeable at first, but it's there. And for the sake of things, let me add an animate one. Filter, 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 filter. I think it's in the beginning and I've passed it already. Filter, distortion, frequency. And you can try this while you're listening. Good, so I don't need to do this that much. I can just come here and actually like this. And I want to go back to the normal mood. Just there. So I hope you enjoyed this crazy sound going on here. This texture could be a drone, yes, but I prefer to call it texture. Let's recap what we've seen here. So this is my main usage with the Peak: synth lines, bass lines, and textures. For me, And I don't say this because I have been doing this for a lot of time. I think the Peak fits beginners and pros, all levels, because it invites you to experiment, and it's everything in the panel, which will make your life very easy, trust me. Nothing against menu diving, because let's be honest, electron machines do have a little bit of menu diving. But here, the menu diving that you might have, it's just few settings that are not essential for you to create good sounds. They spice up the sound you have. And even for the LFOs, it's very fast to go there and you adjust the same parameters you have here. I do recommend this synth to anyone. I feel it's underrated as a synth. Nobody gives it much attention. And I don't know if it's because people, it's digital, whatever, the looks, I have no idea. You have here a very complete synth. Functionality-wise, sound-wise, it can compete with much more expensive synths, not gonna lie. Especially if you then set things up so that either you multi-track or you have it on your track and you can mix things better, make it sit. It sounds crazy. Many of my tracks that I've been releasing this year and a little bit last year, pretty much all of them have the Peak in there. It's the synth line, it's the bass line, it's some stupid sound, it's whatever comes in need, I'll use it. I don't use it for drums. For me, it's a little bit spending cash without very logic to buy a synth, normal synth, to design drum sounds. You can do it here, you can do kicks, I can do hats, that's not the point. But in my workflow, I would prefer to have dedicated drum machine, and if I want to design my own percussions, a synth drum machine instead of a sampler, which you are more tight. I just want to say that it is on my top 5 synths. I don't think that the age here has any kind of influence, because this has been out for a few years, still as fresh, still getting up software updates, sounds good, it's fun, it's what matters. Check my links below, check my Patreon, I'll be posting a few sounds from this video, plus you'll find sample packs and other stuff there that might interest you. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe. Any ideas or opinions, or you would just want to have a chat, drop a comment below. I'll catch you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed. See you the next time.